नमस्ते। धन धन सदगुरु तेरा ही आसरा। Dear friends, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, those who are listening, watching from the field of science, commerce, arts and engineering, the most honorable President Prime Minister SinghModi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advertisers, administrators and advisors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters, your presence is praiseworthy, admirable, appreciable. I, Dr. RK from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section that praising words of the Lord or God, who is omniscient, omnipotent and omnipresent, Almighty Lord, who He was, who He is and who He will. His presence makes our nation multi-dimensional, multi-sided and multifaceted. Our India is known as multiculturalist nation of the world. Uncounted varieties in the field of agriculture, industry, transportation, communication, railways, post. In the different sectors of economy, society, politics, we have this unique principle. Fundamentally, it rejuvenates, it recreates our nation. It is the greatest blessing of Lord or God. Dear friends, our Indian land is known as the land of starters, beginners and initiators. All the holy saints came on this earth and it is the great blessing of the Lord that all the holy saints of the holy religions came on this land to give us the great message of humanity. And it is said, it is read, it is written in all the holy scriptures of this holy land. Humanity is our caste, humanity is our religion. In the beginning of the Holy Bible, we read that our body is the temple of God, heart is the seat of God. What does matter? Initially, when there was nothing in the world, there was the existence of word. God's presence we feel in air, fire, soil, sky and water. It is written commonly in all our holy religions. Our all holy saints of the holy religions, they addressed, messaged, advocated and appealed for showing the presence of Lord Swami Vivekananda, who is the role model of our present Prime Minister Modi ji, who born in 1863 and went to the USA in 1893, addressed the worldly people with the holy culturistic words of our nation. My brothers and sisters of the America, these words created upheaval because of his purity, sanctity, and sacredness of heart or soul. Dear friends, our nation is known as the nation of returners. We believe the presence of Lord in in him. These adverse and opposite conditions and situations also make us realize to feel the presence of Lord. This great identity was addressed by Swami Vivekananda to the worldly people. He told to them, return to the Vedas. The Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, these are the most ancient holy scriptures, holy book of our Hindu mythology. Dear friends, what does the meaning of success? It was addressed by Swamiji. Success means continuity and regularity. Success is not the name of any platform. Unrelentingly, unceasingly, and unstoppingly, we are to run on our path. That is the name of success. One idea, one man, one nation can bring revolutionary and visionary change. This mantra was addressed by Swami Vivekananda on the basis of our holy scriptures of this holy land, and history is evident of all these things. After the First World War, there were two persons who brought a revolution by starting Second World War. It was the result of over-nationalism. If negative motivation is so powerful, then how positive motivation cannot make our nation explorer, exporter and exposer in the different fields. As per the notion of our present Prime Minister Modi ji, we have 140 crore people in our nation. Every citizen is qualified with having great skill, manners, style, standards. We have become the starter, beginner and initiator. All over the world, our every citizen can play the role of leadership. Who are the leaders? Leaders are not only in the form of politics. Leaders, those who guide, supervise, inform, instruct, direct. also play the form of leadership quality. Internally, God itself created our holy land in the form of unity in diversity. Nature is also in the form of unity in diversity. We find classifications, varieties, adversities, diversities. But after all these classifications, our India is one. Its oneness, unity, equality is known all over the world. Dear friends, we are created by the God to do something special. Everything, everyone who came on this earth, he is special. Whether we are born commonly and generally, but God who sent our soul in this world for the special purpose. He sent us in this world with a huge ambition, aims, targets, objectives in our life. How can we fulfill them? We should take the lesson from nature. Nature guides us, informs us, instructs us, directs us. It makes us friendly and familiar. It teaches us how to live, how to spend time with your neighbors, with your family, with your company. Our other peoples of the world that we have around us, according to William Wordsworth, they may beat, cheat, defeat and deceive us, but it is only the nature which is always friendly and familiar with us, never defeat, cheat, beat and defeat, even never betray us. So we are to be honest and sincere towards the nature. Our all holy saints, those who came in this world, they spent their time with nature and they addressed us by being a great social welfare worker through their humanitarian works. They gave us the path of salvation and emancipation. If we repeat the holy words of Lord our God time and again, then these words are the most powerful words that can make us able to get free from avariciousness, falsification, ego, erotic, sensual pleasure. These negative things that have surrounded and covered our soul. We can take the inspiration, encouragement, motivation from the social media. Our social media network is very common today. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Google. If these are so speedy and accurate, believable, then how and who is the maker of these technologies? of these digitologies, we must try to go and research of such things. All the researchers, those who are studying in the foreign universities, Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, they are doing research in this spiritualistic field. Who is the maker of this mind? If the speed and accuracy of all these social sites are so powerful, then how is the maker of these social media? It is really the subject of research, topic of research, title of research. Today we have become the user of different social sites, websites. By following them, by copying them, imitating them, downloading, saving, we are learning a lot of things. Undoubtedly we are learning. But the best technology is the imagination. Imagination is the best educational technology for making our nation recreative and regenerative, even reoperative in the different fields. Today we see the nature around us teaches us how to live selflessly, which is the unique aim of our life. If we have expectations, hope against hopes, and we have become optimistic, then it is a great blunder, mistake of our life. No doubt, whatsoever we are doing, outcomes, fruits, results definitely will come to us. It is the law of nature, principle or doctrine of nature. But we are not to be ambitious, unrelentingly, unceasingly, and unstoppingly if we work. And if we are the believer of unread, unspoken, unwritten, unlistened, then definitely we can get the pleasure. How we can be happy in our life? If we are not happy in our imaginative world, we have to turn towards the reality. And if we are not happy in our realistic world, we have to turn towards the imagination. It is written in our own holy scriptures of this holy land. As per the notion of Plato, who is one of the recognized critic in the different fields, who says that idea comes first, but his disciple Aristotle says our word has come in the form of existence by imitation, but both they are right according to their time, place and action. Situationally and structurally, as per the diversities, as per the changes, we have to accept their criticisms. So about this word, we have different theories, different type of thought behind them. It is written in our all holy scriptures that make the best use of your intellect. Man is known by mind. Without mind, there is not the existence of man. Other 84 lakh species, those who are spending their time in this materialistic world, they have negligible mind. Just they are protected and preserved by their self-protection from the God or Lord through their senses. But man is the only supreme spiritual soul who has the power to help others. Man can be the helper and healer of his own body by his mind through the repetition of the words. Please don't feign ignorance. The Almighty has blessed you with a super intelligence. But for what? Going 100% by the hearsay or what your mind generates is totally wrong. It is as if someone has locked himself in a room thinking that the world does not exist outside and there is nothing to realize beyond it. He also thinks that the whole world has perished. We call it a sheer ignorance. When he unlocks and sees the world outside, the world is existing as it was, and only he had been within his limited range of place and mind. Today's individual, under the wrong perception, attaches its radical importance to worldly materialism. This never leave us alone. If we are alone, we cannot be alone. Because we have natural celestial bodies around us in the form of Lord or God. How we can be alone? Even in this materialistic world. Our human body is made by 5 elements: air, fire, soil, sky and water. God itself says these forms are also the existence of Lord or God. Man's true aim is to attain or obtain the spiritual strength for reuniting our soul with super spiritual power of God. It is written in all our holy scriptures and defines spirituality as a superfluous affair and claims as hypocrisy. On the other hand, true saints, after their deep realization, contradict man's theory of materialism and his attitude towards amassing bank balance, wealth, properties and children and behold such attainments as superfluous. All these things are mortal and perishable. Our human body is perishable and mortal. Then why we are running after collecting such destroyable and damageable things? Everyone who has come in this world, he has born with uncounted, numberless blessings and grace of Lord. So nobody can be supposed as poor, the needy, rejected. It is also an injustice of the understanding of man to the God, because God's blessings are never stopped. So we are to accept it. Saints, question: have you acquired any such commodity that would accompany your soul when it would leave your body? And when that soul, which encompasses everything, is not there, there is obviously nothing. Everything going on because of the soul's existence. Soul is soul. It cannot be compared with anything. As we read words in the different languages, they have their own particular meaning. So no complete translation is not possible of the words, because word itself has its own meaning. Sometimes we use some substitutional words, but we used in place of other words totally. Likely that our soul is soul, God is God. At one place, one person asked from a believer, "How is your God or Lord?" He remained silent. Believer remained silent. The person asked again, "Is your God like the sun?" Believer says, "No doubt He is the source of light, unrelenting source of light, but it does not have any hot nature. It does not get heat." Secondly, he asks again, "Does your Lord is like the moon?" Then believer says, "Moon is also factorless and faulty, because it has solar stigma spot in its center." Ultimately, the person asks him again, "Okay, forgive me and tell me, how is your God?" Then believer says, "My God is God. He is He. Nothing can be compared with Him." So this shows that our soul is soul, God is God. He cannot be compared with anything. He is matchless. Likely that, dear friends, we cannot compare the presence of Lord with any materialistic things like air, fire, soil, sky and water. At some places, Swami Vivekananda addressed by saying that our Indian people also are the strong believer of that place where there is the lightless and soundless So how we can imagine such things? These are unimaginative things in the world. Everything goes on because of the soul's existence. Some people question about the existence of the soul and God and carry the wrong notion that there is no such thing. It is nothing but a narrow thinking and an utterance based on bankruptcy of knowledge. Oh brothers, it is imprudent to declare the result without scrutinizing the whole of subject matter. About the concept of origin of soul, it is written in all our holy scriptures of our holy land, the Lord as well as the soul does exist positively. The world today is based on science. No doubt, all the subjects we read in our schools, colleges, universities, that are originated from the mega science, and in the mega science we read our all holy scriptures by the philosophy and vision of our Lord or God. We go through all the subjects and you will also be enlightened on the analogy of the same theory. The great men have divulged since long about the source of the soul. They have explained. Almighty first appeared as mass radiant. Every living being is his descendant. We all are his flesh and blood. Call no one as bad or good. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who came on this earth in 1469 and addressed us the oneness, equality, humanity among the people. This 14th and 15th century period is really the period of inventors, innovators. After that we study discovery of India in 1498. In 1600, East India Company came in India. And a person who is known as the king of literature, William Shakespeare, who born in 1564, died in 1616. These important dates and epochs created upheaval in the world. First of all, the unified source of power emerged as a mass of divine light and got the statues made by the negative power. The negative power tried to bring those statues to life, but he could not. He wanted to create a world of his own to rule over. So he meditated for 72 quadruplet ages to win the grace of Almighty God, and ultimately he was successful in doing so. After such a long meditation, God acceded to his request and he struck the rays of his divine light with the sad statues and converted those objects into living bodies. These rays are called the living souls. So the soul derived its existence from God. The great men have not mentioned about the shape of that mass, whether it was round or triangular or rectangular. Therefore, He or God is called formless or Nirankar. That's why it is written in our all holy scriptures that form of God is un, im, in, re. It is further explained that the whole world has been generated from this very divine light. We all too have drawn life from the same divine light. Then how can one be better or worse than the other? An individual is nobody to decide about one's being good or bad. The present spiritual congregation narrates the bare truth and facts personally experienced in this the age of darkness. Example is better than precept. We generally see that no one pinpoints one's own evils and rather feels pleasure in telling drawbacks of others. People never pay attention to those three fingers pointing towards themselves while raising their four fingers to point out faults of others. About the criticism, it is written that Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was criticized by the people and he praised them. By blessing them, graces them. Beproh ke Beproh Shyam Maharaj, who respected such people, those who were the criticizers, those who criticized him. Saint Kabir also appreciated such people, those who were the critics. Nature has laid down this peculiar law that if you raise one finger towards others to allegate someone, three fingers would automatically point towards yourself only to make you to analyze yourself before counting the evils of others. Have you never done any misdeed through your eyes, thoughts, or unpleasant actions? If you have done so, then you have no rights to proclaim the evils of others. It is your duty first to eliminate your own flaws and purify yourself so that you may be able to justify your righteousness. Again, just think for a moment before declaring anyone good. How can you call someone excellent when you don't know the sins and crimes that he might have committed in his personal life? But God, who is omnipresent and omniscient, does know all this. An individual can conceal reality from the people around, but neither he had been nor he would ever be able to conceal it from God. You may pronounce that person noble who has committed crimes behind the curtain the great men advise us neither to say anyone wicked nor an angel. If you only consider a person as a human being, only then these hatreds, discords, strifes or conflicts shall come to an end. This is the reality that all persons are alike, having no dissimilarity. The only difference is that of your thinking and hollow egotism. It is written in our holy scriptures. Lord Rama, Lord Krishna also advocated such thoughts. Everything is fine, everything was fine, everything will fine, because everything is working as per the law and order of nature or God. These are the universal laws, universal rules that everyone is to accept. So neither a Hindu nor a Muslim is bad. He who sins upon, he who bans upon sin is bad. Neither a Hindu nor a Muslim is bad. He who bans upon sin is bad. So dear friends, let us shun egoism. Bottom to top, root to fruit, first to last. It has become the great disease, evil, weakness, shortcoming, withdrawal of our character, that we have become egoist. It is rightly said that humility makes us victor, arrogant loses all whosoever. How humanity and humility helps us? Help us in overcoming from our narrownesses. We should love our country without hating with another country. It is said in all the literatures of our holy land. For the prosperity and peace of mind, for the wellness of the world, we must keep our mind with cosmopolitan outlook. We must develop international outlook. So let us shun egoism. This egoism is of many kinds. Someone is proud of his high religion, the other of caste, still others of their intellect or cleverness, beauty, sharp mind or wealth, etc. Dear friends, just these are the colors, varieties, adversities. These are ever created by the God or Lord for bringing the colorfulness and for the smooth running of the world. His aim was only to create the importance of everything. So nothing is insignificant in this world. As we can take the example of the vehicle. An engineer who has made a vehicle, a scientist who is busy in discovering and inventing some sort of hybrid varieties, they know this thing that God has created everything meaningful. Everything has its own importance, its own role. Then how we can say one is good and other is bad? We cannot discriminate on any basis. The same teachings we learn from the holy scriptures of our holy land that are constitutionally applicable, There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed and language, but we are accepted and treated equally as per the rule of nature also. So nature taught us a lot of things, how to spend our time in this world. Ego is pervasive almost everywhere. Some people even think to this extent that God has confined the intellect only to them, and perhaps after giving them this intellect, He forgot to distribute it to all others. Such a person is always in the illusion of thinking that he is the wisest person in this world. Dear friends, Viprohon ke Viproha Shyam Stanaji Maharaj, who wrote at one place that if we have got a lot of knowledge, richness, royalty, aristocracy, then these are the blessings and graces of Lord. If politely we will not accept them as per the will, win, skill of God, then we may lose to be the best user. He also praised the God, whether we are stand and wait. To the John Milton's ideas also we learn these ideas. When he lost his eyes in the age of 44, he got enlightened and blessed by the inner knowledge, accepted God's will ultimately. So, numberless examples we see in the literature. He considers to have no parallel to him and thinks that no one can challenge his words. He thinks all others only simpleton or foolish. The great man advised us to shun egotism, and to be thankful to that Creator, the Almighty, who has blessed us with this unique physical frame, the human body. How we can repay? We are always incredited to God. So mysterious is this human body that even the scientists of today have not been able to specify which genes are functioning in a particular organ of the human body. Research on this topic is still going on, but all types of genes have not been discovered as yet. The Creator framed this human body long ago. But has this ever struck to your mind to be grateful to that Lord? You have rather got yourself entangled in its feeding and nursing. The saints advise us to think above our body and realize the supreme power who has created us and the whole universe. But the individual does not behold beyond his knowledge. You will be told today the purpose of life. That is related to the entire humanity. Dear friends, it is written in all our holy scriptures, we cannot count the blessings and grace of Lord. Even we have the speed like air. Even if we have the paper like earth, And even if we have the pen like the stick from vegetation, because he is uncounted, unread, unspoken, unwritten, so it is rightly said that he is he. It means not that we are not to count the blessings, but we must try to count and recount his blessings and grace every day, always. Oh brothers, even though God has bestowed on you enough intellect, yet it is found that vices are dominating the virtues. That is why the present age is known as an age of darkness. Some people question, why is it called the age of darkness? They question the very basis of differentiating it from the other ages. The great man described the fact that it is differentiated on the basis of virtues and vices. As the vices are increasing and virtues are decreasing in the individuals, the present age is called vice age. I have observed that an individual readily and willingly goes to a circus, cinema, fair, etc. to spend 3 or 4 hours. And when he is about to leave in between due to some reason, the people nearby prompt him not to miss the coming scene. Otherwise, he would lose all his joys and his continuous staying there. On the other hand, people call it mere wastage of time if one goes to the satsang of spiritual discourse. We have seen educated people also who are of the same opinion. It happens usually in our life. Our negative thoughts are so powerful, and by becoming a loser, we do not face the challenges of the negative thoughts. Winners don't do the different things, they do the things differently. We read it, accept it, we are agree with it. Because winner says, I am the answer of the problem. Winner always say, I am the thermostat, not the thermometer. Only in fact, where is the wastage of time? What you see is only a product of mind, tricks of cameras and other manual skills. There is hardly any truth in it, but man can spare a lot of time for all this falsehood. On the contrary, people use harsh language about spiritual program. It is stated to be superfluous or meaningless by them. What else should it be called other than dark age? When so-called educated persons are wasting time in useless things which are quite unreal, the misled people call the spiritual discourse just wastage of time. While everything told there is absolutely true, he avoids the truth even after comprehending it, relishes the falsehood. Let us see what is man doing and what is supposed to be done by him. In the morning he takes tea, breakfast, etc. Farmers, offices and shops respectively. The students also go for studies. So it has become everyone's daily routine to eat during the day and become a victim of sensual pleasures during the night. Again, in the next morning, they move for the completion of the left out jaws. All of you do like this? Then think over it. Oh brothers, is there any creditable work or anything special among all those actions performed by you which will accompany your soul after your death? Do you expect your properties, wealth, amassed bank balances, and children would accompany you after death? No. Even your body will not accompany you after death. Your sons, whom you call your own, shall cremate you after placing your dead body on the pyre or bury you. Then, who is your ultimate companion? Why are you? Why are you then thinking anything of yours? They may be yours. They may be yours till there is soul in your body. But it is also not definite, because when your children will grow young, they may claim their share of property as per their legal right. They will take away from you what you had earned during your lifespan. It may be possible that you may have to live aloof, because it is dark is. Everybody, where everybody is self-centered and talks to others only if any selfish motive. Only a person having good karmas, deeds of previous births, or by the grace of God, will speak with or help another person without any selfish purpose. Otherwise, the people talk to others only if there is any purpose. This world is full of self-interests. Everyone is selfish in this world, but nature is always selfless. We should take the lesson from nature. Nature is God, nature is Lord. So brother, what type of this new era is? People speak high about this modern era. But so far as the view of spiritual great men is concerned, it is nothing but Kali-yuga, or an era of selfishness and vices. Service above self and love for all. We can call this modern age as an age of selfishness. Mostly, the goodness never roots out. Today also we may come across many such families where its members love one another and the children respect their elders and grandparents. But in comparison with the whole human population, such families are very rare. You will be encircled by thousands of friends if you have enough wealth to help and entertain them. The lesser the money, the lesser will be the number of your friends. Because they know that you are running short of money. Previously, they used to enjoy through your pocket, and now they fear that they might have to entertain you by their own money. So they step backwards. Have the worldly people not become selfish? Yes, certainly. Take the case of 3 or 4 years old child. He addresses his parents very lovingly, politely, and even flatters them. He weeps and calls out to his parents only if he needs anything, because he knows that they are the ones who can fulfill his desires. So he goes on crying continuously. But as the child grows up, becomes adult, and is capable of earning his livelihood, he discards his same parents with whom he used to speak softly and gently. Now, he seems to have no time to speak even a few loving words for them. It has been told earlier also that everything is not uprooted. No doubt, goodness is there, but mostly people are self-centered. When that child becomes young and himself becomes father, he takes his parents as a burden on him and asks them to shift to their other sons. He shows his helplessness in taking care of them by telling them that he has his own big family to support and so he is unable to help them. The other sons further cook excuses, and in such cases it has been seen at many places that the forefathers or elderly people have to live quite separately. Is this not selfishness? When a person is child and ignorant, he remembers parents every moment, but as he comes to know about himself, that he has become mature and starts earning, he becomes absolutely selfish. Here, people still love one another, but in most of the areas, it is not so. The situation is altogether different. In the past, if any guest visited someone's house in one's absence, then the neighbors used to bring milk for him. It does not mean that he was in need of milk, but it was purely out of love and respect. It is also a part of our Indian culture that teaches us how to live in the society. They used to talk to their guest lovingly and affectionately. But today, what to say of the neighbors? Today's host himself doesn't even respect the guest. Those who have seen the previous age, now how blissful and heavenly that period was. If today's time is compared to that of the past, it is definitely worse than that. Spiritual saints find two reasons of your coming here to attend spiritual congregation or spiritual program. First, it is due to your willpower. Some non-persons of your might have told you about this place, or would you requested you, or your inner conscience has asked you to come to this place. The other is God's grace, or His compassion bestowed as a reward of your efforts made in this respect. About this, Hindu great men have guided us as God helps those who help themselves. Had you not worked hard, whom would have God helped then? So brothers, this is the reality. You are sitting here with great love and devotion. Otherwise, in this fast and elusive age, if an hour is spent in a godly place, this man thinks to have lost so many customers and much money. In spite of all this, you have appeared here. There are two reasons behind it: your willpower and God's grace. So brothers, we are not going to have anything from you except a little of your time to tell you the originality and reality of life. Our aim is neither to cheat you nor to have your religion changed. We have neither any temptation for money nor for any offerings. We will tell you the reality for the sake of humanity. You are human beings. So first listen and then act accordingly to find out the truth, whether God is there or not. So brothers, it is told in the beginning of the hymn, God made thee his own aspect. Ask angels bow and respect. There is no such other birth. Why do thou ignore its worth? Here we have used the word God or oh brothers, that is the absolute power. Having various names, that power is called Prabhu, Ishwar, Ram, Allah, God, Vaheguru, Om, Hari, Rab. But it makes no difference to address Him by different names. Take an example of water change. No, only its name is changed. The names of water have been changed because people speak different languages and the names of water are different in the different languages. Similarly, God is one, but He is pronounced by several names because of different languages. Today, people don't consider Him one. Many people pretend to be religious, but when tested, there are few only who are faithful to their religion. Almost everyone shows off, and the belief in doing so is increasing day by day. Dear friends, let us respect for all religions. Now come to the point of religions. As I explained earlier, we respect all the religions and we have been in contact with all those religions. You might also be knowing one thing, which is basically every religion, or you may call it the first step of all the religions. The fact is told is that God is one, Prabhu is one, Allah is one, Vaheguru is one, and Om is one. We have told you about many religions. All say that supreme power is one. But today's man says, my God is superior and yours is inferior or bad. Where from this feeling of yours and mine has developed? All this is a product of man's mind. In religious books, nothing has been written as such. Keep in view only this sentence, that supreme power is one, and the paper of different religions are addressing that supreme power with different names, while the followers of one religion call him God. The followers of other religions call him by different names other than God. It is a fact that we come across people fighting to prove their God right and that of other wrong. People are seen quarreling on the name of God. That is why it is called a horrible age. There can be no greater sin than fighting on the name of God. But man is in the dark and he can't understand unless and until he attends the spiritual discourses. The spiritual great men say that all those who fight like this are wrong because they are fighting for that same power. One says that his one is fine and that of the other is cheap. He forgets that whom he is calling the chief is also his own, but only in the different name. It is very simple that whom one calls Prabhu, Ram or Master, the other calls him Allah. Whom one calls Allah, the other calls him Vaheguru. Whom one calls Vaheguru, the other calls God. Whom one calls God, the other calls Hari, Om or Bhagwan. Then what does the man get by declaring him as two? Has today's man gained anything except quarrels, rights, hatred, and feelings of revenge by declaring his conflicts arise? People kill one another. Suppose 3 persons from one side and 2 from the other side are killed in a conflict. The persons from whose side 2 are killed say the number of deaths on our side is less, as from the other side 3 have died. A great man enlightens the fact that all the 5 were from his side because all were human beings. This is the reality which the ignorant person don't accept. If the masses accept this reality, then these hatreds and riots can never occur. But man pretends more and follows less. Kabir Sahib Ji says, do serve as he Satguru ordains. In that, he had no personal gains. For humanity's service, do some action. Human life is sublime creation. Reduce evil defect to least fraction. Angels long for this human tongue. As salvation attained in this form, recite holy words and don't miss. This is very purpose of life's bliss. Human life is sublime creation. Kabir Sahib Ji says that this human body is meant for devotion to God and to serve His creation. All the gods and goddesses pray to be encased in the human body because soul can attain salvation only while in human body and not in any other form. O brothers, you have at least attained the human body, so you must realize its importance and His creation. Recite God's words without fail. It's only the human births avail. Remember God and don't forget Him. This is the only benefit of human birth. This body is really wonderful, unlike any other. Someone has personally experienced this following incident. Suppose some person is going in a jungle in a particular direction. When a lion appears all of a sudden, it is a fact that if the man is not afraid of the lion, then the lion will not harm him. It is a secondary issue that a man is generally afraid of the lion and runs away by himself. A lion never steps ahead unless and until the man provokes him to do so. The one with whom such type of incident happened told him that having seen the lion coming near, the lion made way and went to the other side. It means lion got afraid of that man. A lion is stronger than man from every point of view. It is powerful, but man is the wisest of the whole creation. It may be that its parents or God might have told it beware of the creature having 2 feet, as he is quite cunning and dangerous. Rest of the creatures are afraid of the lions and that is why they run away at their appearance. I have also seen a similar happening myself. Sometimes long snakes are seen here in the ashram. They shall certainly attack with their fangs in order to protect themselves if someone puts 1 foot on them. But a snake, if not harmed, leaves the place when it feels the presence of a man through its senses. It means every creature is afraid of the human being because this human body is very marvelous, endowed with wit and virtues. But what has remained, the value of this human being in today's time is also worth noticing, and that we all know well. Dear brothers and sisters, those who are listening, really you are praiseworthy and admirable, appreciable. Your time is precious that you are investing in earning the true knowledge of soul. Awareness, the root cause of all evils. Even though if someone's pocket is stuffed with waste papers, he is immediately shot dead by the miscreants simply on the assumption that his pocket would be full of money. But when the pocket of the murdered person is searched, only waste papers are found there. So what is the value of a man? Nothing. Who has devalued him? Only a man and nobody else. He is digging his grave himself. It is also seen that a man kills a man for a piece of land worth 10 or 20,000 rupees. He can multiply his property or rupees 20,000 to that of rupees 1 lakh by dint of hard work. But if the murderer is asked to bring back the dead person to life again by taking 1 million rupees, he can never do so. Strange enough, he has killed a man only for 20,000 rupees. Sweet are the fruits of prideful earnings. The great men say, whether one be a king or subject, rich or poor, a hermit or a villain, it is sure that all of them have to leave this perishable world. But would you be able to take away with you even an inch of the land acquired by killing an individual? If not, then why to torture and torment others? But man has no light of this fact. His eyes are closed by the blinding veil of lust for wealth. This man repents over the past time which he had spent without earning much wealth. But the truth which I am going to express before you today is practiced only by a few people. The great men never forbid anyone to earn money or amass wealth. Rather, they consider that the man is of no use who is lazy and sits idle, because they believe in hard labor and performing good deeds. They say that we are able to perform deeds, but they forbid us to do such deeds that torture others. You may become a millionaire or so by the wealth gained through cruelties, as modern era is an age where falsehood is in vogue. How sigh of suppressed soul whom he had robbed will never let him live in peace. An undefinable restlessness will haunt him inwardly. I will tell you the truth here. Many millionaires and billionaires meet and tell me that they have got everything except one, that is their children. Don't obey them. The children go out of the house when the parents enter and vice versa. They are not getting mental peace and serenity. Had it been possible to have peace by money, they would have definitely bought it, as they have sufficient surplus money with them. But it is not possible with the money which have been collected by them through torturing and sucking the blood of the innocent people. Also, the size of the crying souls never stop chasing them, and they become the victims of such disease which cannot be diagnosed even with the help of an X-ray or ultrasound system. Neither today nor tomorrow it can be diagnosed, as it is due to the result of a sigh heaved out of a tormented soul. That's why saints advise us to earn money only by adopting rightful means and putting hard labor. Oh brothers, you have considering the soul life of a poor like that of hell, but on observing them you will find what a peaceful environment prevails in the houses of those people who earn their livelihood by the sweat of their eyebrows or by extraordinary hard work. They enjoy explicable inner peace, which cannot be seen even in the palaces of billionaires. The great man advises to subsist on the money earned by hard labor. All religions preach the same. If the followers don't practice what their religions preach, then what is the fault of religion? In fact, in this age of Kali Yuga, man is following the teachings of its self-created religions, which are being found progressing day by day. Religions actually never preach you to adopt the wrong path. If the man himself is bent upon doing evils, then religions are not to be blamed at. No doubt some people doing bad deeds may be found in every religion and everywhere. Listen carefully and listen carefully the couplet. Neither a Hindu nor a Muslim is bad. He who bends upon sins is bad. Only those people are bad who perform evil deeds. But don't even call them bad. Hate the sins and the evils and not the sinners. Hate not only the sins but the one present in you also, so that you may be enlightened, internally. You are being advised not to hate the sinner, because it is possible that he too may become a devotee of Lord someday in the time to come. Man can improve himself any day as he is gifted with the light of wisdom, and when he improves, you may have to cut a sorry figure before him. At first, never say ill of the. At best, never say ill of anybody. All lives are slave except yours. God hath given ye all rights of course. Do as thou may opine well. Have deliverance or see hell. Dear friends, what is further being said by our great man? Soul gets strength from Almighty. If we have soul power, spiritual power, which is the need of success, the great men say that you may have been gifted with this human body, in order to get willpower and to have your soul liberated. Some people even don't believe in soul and willpower. When they get a little bit of scientific and other education, they declare that there is no God as such. On the other hand, the topmost researchers have started believing that God exists and soul does get strength from him. I have not myself seen, but have heard a news that about 200 patients in America, even after being treated by so many modern scientific ways, were declared incurable. There had been a doctor who had faith in God. He said to other doctors, "You all have declared them incurable. It is better to research on these 200 patients." They agreed, and the patients were brought to a solitary place and were advised to pray to God at the specific hours in the morning, noon, and evening, and the same earlier medicines were also given to them. The result was positive, as some of the patients started getting recovered. Thus, science has accepted that supreme power, that is God, indirectly and not directly, because of the fear being laughed at by the devotees of God at his higher education. Now, certain, every voice doctors might be sitting here also. They know that all the medicines become ineffective on those patients who have lost the desire to live or whose soul power has diminished. But if the same patients regain their desire to live, even the simplest medicine can work wonders and the patients can be recovered. But science has not as yet invented which can be given to the soul to make it powerful. Had there been any such tonic, the doctors in America would not have advised the patients to do prayers. The patients were asked to pray to God because the soul gets willpower in this way. The soul gets strengthened by pure thoughts and devotion to God. A man having a powerful soul gets success in every good field of the society. Success never touches those who are devoid of the soul power and lose their identity. They go on facing successive failures. The existence of soul power tonic has been accepted by science indirectly and by the spiritual great men directly. It is the strength which the soul gets by devotion to God and is also called the power of Vaheguru. Another interesting conversation with scientists is narrated here. Once some scientists from Dehradun side met me and said, "Maharaj ji, we don't believe in Prabhu, Bhagwan, Allah, God and Khuda." That is, on this I inquired, "Then whom do you have faith in?" Now listen to their answer carefully. "We don't believe in anything except that there is some supreme power which is controlling this entire universe." Please observe that they have at least accepted him, but they are fearing from calling him God. They have tactfully changed the name but accepted the existence of God by calling him supreme power which is controlling the whole creation. I laughed at their theory, saying that they have not only called God Prabhu, Master, Om, Vaheguru and Paramatma and supreme power. It is good that they have added one more name in the list of the names of God to be intimated to others. Hence there lies no difference between supreme power or any other name of God. But they all not be ready to accept this fact. On the other hand, there is no harm in calling him supreme power. so others. So brothers, science is also turning slowly towards spiritualism, way to very deep sleep point. Let us take one more aspect of science. The spiritual great men say that when one gets engrossed in meditation, he at first reaches the void and then he feels himself in the very deep sleep. After that, he is able to see the celestial light and he hears the divine voice. When the soul reaches the upper part of the body, this is the point which is called 10th door or arc, a place between the two eyes, breathing and seems to have no life. Firstly, science didn't accept it, but some scientists have started believing it now. Once an American doctor met me. He was initiated into Nam Shabd, the God's words. I am telling you what that doctor told me. American doctors never used to believe in such spiritual happenings. Now in America, moving upwards from the feet and reaches the knees and also the deep sleep point when soul reaches the center of the two eyes. This point is also called 10th door in spirituality. The doctor said, Maharaj Ji, an individual was asked to concentrate on any point in the void by closing the eyes and he did so. We checked him up and realized the pulse which beats at the rate of 72 times per minute was reduced to 50 or 55 times per minute. And blood pressure, diastolic value of which is normally 90 mm of mercury and systolic value is 90 plus the age of the individuals was reduced to 60 to 65 mm and 90 mm of mercury respectively. It means when individual reaches the void, his internal bodily activities don't remain normal and rather become slow. The doctors further said, Maharaj Ji, now we have Americans. We the Americans, after conducting the experiment and getting 100% success in it, have believed that the first part of this spiritual theory advocated by Indian spiritual science is absolutely correct and are thinking about the second part of this theory, that when the soul reaches the 10th door or very deep sleep point, then the body becomes almost breathless or lifeless. The doctors are still expressing the doubt about this second part. This is because of the fact that in spite of strenuous efforts made by them for 5 to 6 hours, the soul did not progress ahead and remained in the void where it was, and the blood pressure also remained the same. Actually, it is very difficult to reach this stage of very deep sleep point. Even yogis, hermits are incapable of reaching this stage. I tell you candidly that a man can reach this stage only by devotion to God and through a very strong feeling of longing for Him. These two things are indispensable for reaching this stage. The doctor then said, Maharaj Ji, I have been initiated now, God's words, for prayers, and now I will try my best to investigate as to which power actually is concealed in this Naam. Oh brothers, what the true Indian saints have told is reality. Without understanding any research or without actually reaching that stage of very deep sleep point, it is unwise to declare that God does not exist. Man believes not in Guru's narration unless eyes himself on verification. The great man and spiritual saint say that unless and until individual actually sees the truth or spiritual wonders himself, he does not believe even the words of his Guru. But the reality is that everyone will have to accept it only day. Everyone will have to accept it one day, or even doctors have accepted that the body becomes almost breathless. When the soul reaches the 10th door, it is an age of science and science has achieved a lot. But it is extremely difficult to provide rest to the heart. Whether you sleep or do not, whether you sleep or do any work, the heart goes on palpitating continuously. In case it stops working, the individual is dead. Even his family members shall not be ready to keep his dead body in the house. A man has life till the heart works properly. So, brothers, the spiritual saints tell us that when we meditate, the soul reaches the 10th door, the heart almost working and beats very lately. The pulse rate and the blood pressure, if checked at that time, go very down. Kabir Sahib Ji has described this condition as to die while living. The individual remains alive, but the soul and breaths are present there at the place between the two eyes, just above the nose. Someone perhaps may say, there is no God or soul, and the theory propagated by me in this scientific age will not hold good here. But this type of thinking prevalent in human beings is due to the effect of the age of darkness. The fact narrated by spiritual saints is that God and soul exist will have to be accepted by all human beings without any ifs and buts, because God is omnipresent and omnipotent. He may make it believed to the deserving devotees in due courses of time if he wishes so. God's holy words can bring life to lifeless. Here is an incident which directly indicates that God can do anything if he wishes so. Dear friends, number of examples can be quoted that shows God's holy words can bring life to lifeless. The concept of Genesis through the Holy Bible, we read it. It is generally told that man's ancestors were monkeys. As per the theory of science, man has developed from monkey. Anyhow, I will not say about it. But what happens if the sons of those scientists who believe in this theory are taken from them and given to the agonized, issueless couples, and those scientists should be given old monkeys in return so that they may entitle all their properties to their names, because one day these monkeys will definitely become human beings when their tails disappear. What has happened today? Why are monkeys not turning into men now? The reason being given is that atmosphere has been changed. Do they know about the atmosphere of that ancient time? Again, there is a general question to science: who came first, hen or egg? Their answer will be egg. But how did an egg come into being without a hen? If hen came first is the reply, then how did hen came into existence without an egg? Again, the scientists plead that the meteorites from the sky struck the earth with high speed, then there were heavy rains and water filled the pits created by the meteorites. Later on, the water evaporated slowly and the creatures of the water originated. They laid eggs as a result of developmental or evolutionary changes. Different types of creatures came out of time. So, brothers, it is so. Then take away the eggs of tortoise to your home to see. Perhaps a human child may come out of that. Why are the eggs not attaining different shapes automatically nowadays? When it happened so in the past, there is no answer to this question with scientists that how it all happened. Oh brothers, the reality is that different statues were created by God from Kal, and God made the rays emerging from him, or God strike these statues which came to life then and there. So there had been no evolution of man from monkey or anything else. Rightly, the spiritual saints have avouched Almighty first appeared as mass radiant. Every living being is his descendant. We all are his flesh and blood. Call no one as bad or good. The word Allah is present in the sacred speech of Guru Sahiban, and the word remains there as it is because they wanted the welfare of all and not of an individual of a particular sect. It is a true recitation of the great cheers that first of all Allah, God and Paramatma manifested himself in the form of divine light, and the rays emitted from the light which are inside you also are called souls. The whole world is created by that divine light. Different statues whatsoever may be their number were God created by God from Kal, and these rays struck those statues and life came into those statues. After that, the process of reproduction continued. Hence, all human beings are descendants of nature. The whole world has been created by that celestial light, and no one is good or bad. Belief in God. Today's man mostly depends on belief. You may think of yourself. Suppose you have never been to Madras before and you want to go to Madras by train. You have to go to the railway station where you look for the train on which Madras is written. Then you have to believe that train will move from that very place only. Which one of your senses have assured you have that the train would start from there only? You came to know by what was written there and what you saw. It is all your faith and not your perception. Then you go to the booking window where tickets are available. You purchase the tickets on which it is written that it will take you to Madras. Again you believe in that ticket. Then you board the particular train. It is not your perception but belief that train would lead you to Madras. When the train is running and you are not familiar with the route because you are going to Madras for the first time, even then you are sitting in the train only because of your belief that this train will definitely go to Madras. When the train reaches Madras station, only then you realize that it is Madras and you have reached to the proper place. So far as God is concerned, man is not ready to have faith in him. It is strange that man can have faith over trifles, but when spiritual saints tell him to believe in God, then he forbids to do so. Saints say that you will have to believe in God also. You will be given words and you have to repeat them silently. Words shall work like that ticket, and to repeat them silently like sitting in train. As you go on repeating the words, this will definitely lead you towards your destination. that is Satlok. But what can God do for you when you are not ready to do anything yourself? On the contrary, such people try to prove that God does not exist. No, brothers, God is there. It is told further, as for many a deed. God hath given the two paths to lead, whether go to hell or wise, or have way to paradise. God has not created castes or creeds. Leaving aside to God, man feels hatred and jealous of others. God is one, but he is called by several names. For example, let the people of all the different castes and creeds be seated at one place and send the wisest men of the world there to find out any difference. Bones, veins, flesh, and red blood circulating in the veins of all of them are the same. There may be slight difference in the color of their skin, but not in characteristics. Then why does a man differentiate himself from the others? Has God made any difference among us to you all? No difference at all. What to say of God? Even his nature and plantation never show any difference to anyone. For example, bunch of grapes is hanging on a vine. Send a man of the highest caste and creed created by man himself there. Will that bunch fall down itself in his hands to be eaten? No, not at all. He can eat only when he plucks it. Now send a man of the lowest caste and creed there to have that bunch of fly or forbidding him to touch it as it will get spoiled. Not at all. The bunch remains. He can also eat if he plucks it. So 2 points are clear that neither God nor nature ever shows any difference. It is the man only who creates such differences. It all depends on his mind, how it dictates him. I tell you something more about this racial discrimination which I noticed myself. In our area, there grows a rich crop of wheat. Landlords belonging to well-to-do families don't show wheat themselves, but it is shown with the help of tractors. It matters not if they drive the tractors themselves. They are people of lower caste, as considered by public, who put their hands in the pipes of machines so that the seed may not stick in the pipe when the seeds grow up. They are watered by the people of the lower caste. I am telling you that. I am telling you what I have seen myself. Crops are reaped by the people of low caste. Nowadays, machines are available, no doubt, but the grains are loaded in the trucks and trolleys by the people of the low caste and are weighted and packed in the bags by the people of low caste. It is grinded by it is grinded for the rich by the people of low caste. No matter if one goes himself to get it grinded, the millstone is shaped by the people of low caste. When bread, roti or chapati is prepared, then that man of low caste is ordered by the man of high caste not to touch that chapati or roti, not to cast his shadow even. Isn't it a wonderful formula? All the work is done by the people of low caste, and when comes the concern of roti, he, the man of low caste, is asked to stay away just because he belongs to a man-made low caste. So, brothers, isn't it a formula cooked by the rich of the so-called high caste and creed? Known the fact that he would have known the fact if he had put his feet in the holes of the snakes in the fields to do all the work which those low caste people do. I tell you another incident like this which had happened with me. I formerly used to live in village. It happens generally with everyone. Son hatred. Hatred for one another because of caste, creed or religion is developing day by day. This hatred first develops within the country itself and then between one country and the other and so on. The atomic bomb has been invented by scientists only because of its increasing disgust. I am of the opinion that the cause of development of such a ferocious power is the result of revenge and hatred amongst the people within a country or outside. May God never allow these power to come into action. What will happen when these powers play their havoc is not unknown to humanity because Hiroshima and Nagasaki are their proofs. A scientist met me and told that the bombs which destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki were quite less powerful than those atomic bombs which today's man has invented. The modern ones are 100 times more powerful than those used at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. According to the scientists, when these new atomic bombs will explode, so much heat will be generated and atmospheric temperature will increase to many thousand degrees, and whatsoever articles fall under their affected area will melt like wax and look like water. From my point of view, the inventor of this atomic bomb might be thinking of ruling over the whole world after exploding these atomic bombs. In spite of knowing the fact, the scientist is becoming ignorant. I ask, upon whom will he rule when even the dead bodies will not be available at that time? What type of a kingdom it would be, where there will none to obey, also where lies the guarantee that he would survive and rule. His neighbor is also ready to use atomic power against him in order to destroy him. Thus, it is the feeling of jealousy, hatred, and an insatiable lust for power which is increasing the gap between man and God. Or we can also say that it is this widened gap between man and God which is taking this world towards irreparable disaster. The people, until they are redeemed from this hatred, one who believes in God can never say that God has created any difference between man and man. See, God has framed this wonderful human body, and in this small body He has provided the brain, which is the best amongst all the organs. Couldn't God write the words like Hindu, Muslim, Sikh or Christian, etc. on the forehead of the fetus while in the womb of the mother? Had He written this, there would not have been any dispute among us men. If someone had asked the other as to who he was, in that case he could show the nameplate inscribed on his forehead by the god. Does any such nameplate exist on the forehead of any person? Was God not able to do so? Is God helpless in any way? The answer to these questions is that God is neither weak nor incapable to write that nameplate, since God has not done so. Therefore, its simple meaning is that God has not made a human being in the womb of mother. Further, this human being becomes a part of the religion in which he grows up. No religion preaches us to quarrel, selfless love for all beings. All the religions teach the lesson of love. Whether one follows it or not, it is his own sweet will. Sikh great men say, Hindu great men say, love God's creation. If you want to see him, love thy neighbor. Thank you, dear friends, brothers and sisters. All of you are listening, watching 3M YouTube, 3M Space Creator YouTube channel. You are live, online, listening word source ideas from the spiritual world for regenerating, recreating our nation with our thoughts and ideas. Dear friends, our nation will become explorer, exporter and exposer one day with 140 crore people by startups, initiators. If daily we take startups in the different fields, then definitely our nation will become leader of the world. Thank you. Your presence praiseworthy and admirable. Dhanyavad.